The last few years has been a wild ride. Your ride and my ride has been a little bit different throughout all of it, what's happening in the city and suburbs, but we can all agree that it's been crazy out there. As we look to 2024, what are your expectations for the western suburbs?
You know, Amanda, as I project into 2024, I have to look back a little bit into 2023. Mm-hmm. And currently in each of the markets that I work in, the list to contract measure, how many days of market exposure, is well under 30 days. And usually December, the holiday season, is a time when that number peaks. So when we're entering the first quarter of a new year with significantly less than 30 days of marketing time, it's going to be hot. I've already had multiple transactions this year. I've already seen multiple offers. I've already seen transaction prices over asking price. So it's going to be competitive, period.
No, I think you're very right in that. In fact, I kind of joke and say, in December, I was involved in 3 multiple bids. One of them had 7 offers on it. That was December, right? I was getting ready to kind of take a step back, start digesting, getting ready for 2024. And there definitely was that. Now, obviously, yes, that answers the first question. Are we expecting it to be competitive in 2024?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Exclamation point.
And that leads into a little bit of the next comment. So much of that is driven by this inventory issue that we've had. Can you speak to me a little bit about what you guys are expecting in terms of the inventory in the new year?
Overall, at a high level, there is definitely going to be a deficiency in inventory. There's no doubt about it. Okay. However, as opposed to the last, say, 3 years, we're going to have slightly more inventory than that period of time. For example, I have 15 signed listings that I haven't released into the market yet already in January of this year. So it's going to be a little bit more liquid than it has been in the past. However, it's going to be tight. The majority of people who are selling tend to be people in their 50s and 60s, many of those with multiple properties. It's time to get rid of some of those.
That's an interesting thing to note, because I think that twofold. Number one, I feel like my listing inventory right now is actually quite high. I do think that we're going to see some more inventory, but as I've been telling my clients, solving this inventory issue, in my opinion, is going to take years. It's not something that we're going to see in 1 or 2 years. This is going to be a slow ride back there, but I am hopeful that we see a little bit more on our end of things. So it's encouraging to see that. Now, let me play a little devil's advocate to you. We're going to see a little bit more inventory, but on the same token, we also know that these interest rates are starting to get a little bit more compelling. Do you think that these lowering interest rates are going to put just as much more demand back into our marketplace?
It absolutely does. Most of what I do is in the luxury segment. However, when affordability becomes more affordable, that pushes the market up. So that is absolutely going to accelerate things. Now, we're in an election year, and I have been through election years in the past, and I can tell you with a high level of confidence that the first 2.5 quarters of the year are going to be very aggressive, very, very brisk, at or about the time of the election because of the negativity of the ads. A level of fright and uncertainty enters the market, which tends to destabilize things. So bottom line, wild ride for most of the year.
For certain. And I love, right, I always joke and say, we don't talk about politics here, but we do talk about politics here because it's gonna have impact, right? This is my 6th election. I'm guessing you're probably right in there as well.
Pretty close to that.
And it's one of those things that, as you said, we're gonna see a wild ride because of it. Now, I'm curious. What I tend to see on my side is that there is an impact from the election, but it's usually different than what most people think. 2 to 3 months before the election, what we'll find from the negativity of the ads and the contentious nature of the election that I think we're all expecting is that consumers will come to me with one question. The one question that I will get time and time again is, how will the results of the election impact the real estate market? Is that a question that you tend to field?
I do, and my answer is always the same because I know this to be factual as well. Regardless of who wins the presidential election, there will be certainty in the market, and the January after the presidential election, regardless of weather conditions and other influences, tends to be extremely hot.
No, I think that's great, and that's what I tell my clients. The impact of the election, in my opinion, is the pause created by that question. It's the pause created by the doubt leading up to the election. But the reality is hopefully we know the results of the election on November 4th. Nobody wants another 30 days after that. And assuming that we do, there will be no immediate change. There will be relief that ugly part is behind us. But the reality is our impact, as I say, it's pause. We as consumers create pause. And it's not just elections. It's anytime we have world events that concern us, we selfishly tend to think, how is this going to impact me?
Right.
And let me just sit tight and watch it and wait and see.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I've lived it.
No, it's very, very true. So you heard it here. There will be pause, but the markets will be fine regardless of who wins the election. Coming back on this, because I think that this is just going to be, in my opinion, the script of 2024. Interest rates, between being an election year, the inflation getting more manageable and more under control, are definitely going to be a big part of this story. How do you really see, as those rates fall, it impacting the market in the western suburbs?
You know, it's all about affordability. I mean, someone who can afford X will now be able to afford X plus something else, which gives them more buying power, which gives them greater confidence, which gives greater liquidity in the market. It's going to be a very, very fast market.
Yep. And that's just, as we say, it's just going to bring more people into the market.
There's no other way to look at it.
And we've got a lot of clients, hopefully right now, that are patting themselves on the back when they took our strategy advice last year. We said, it's okay to buy at 7.5% and 8% because you're going to be in a better position than when the rates come down. You can refinance the property, but if not, you're going to be in a pretty contentious market out there. And that's what I'm hearing you guys are expecting.
Absolutely. No objection there.